Hello and welcome to a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Join three brave yet incredibly stupid adventurers as they travel through the magical world with only their own incompetence to keep them safe. Basically, they're totally screwed, and it's only a matter of time until they all end up dead in a ditch on fire. However, as they roam the lands in search for high adventure, this is their complete guide on how not to adventure. Hello and welcome to a game of Dungeons and Dragons with myself, Rob, Josh and Chris. Douglas is our humble, merciful dungeon master, and he's going to take it away.
I don't know about humble and merciful, but
I'm hoping for definitely merciful, because I'm going to be dying left, right and centre.
I've played with Doug before. He's not very merciful.
Well, this is a Dungeons and Dragons game. 5th edition. We're going to be doing a pre-written thing because I couldn't be bothered to come up with a story.
Selling the series straight off the bat, I love it.
Well, I've changed it somewhat. It's always just good to have, a nice solid level 1 starting off point. I'm going to be not bothering with quite a few of the rules.
He won't tell us which ones he's not bothering with until we get that far.
Yep. No, just like eating and drinking stuff I don't really bother with generally.
They're not
I'm going to be
important.
used. Yeah.
Armor classes, they're not important. HP,
Like, I'm not
important.
And like
Don't
I'm
need
not going to
traits.
let's say you wanted to, like, if you were a ranger, say, I'm not going to like make you go buy arrows every 5 minutes.
Or just
not
pick
that
up the
any
ones
of
you
you-
fired.
I wish you'd told me this before. I'd have been a fucking ranger.
Infinite
Well,
ammo, fuck yeah.
within reason. I'm going to be using a lovely critical fumble table for when you critically fail. Makes it more entertaining. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
you want to tell me about your characters?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll start. My name is Dalton Sebastian Belvedere Grey.
Oh god.
I'm a nobleman, but I'm not that highly ranked. My family's quite well respected, but I'm the fourth son of the Lord. So I'm not getting any inheritance. I'm not really getting any attention or anything. So I've gone out into the world, and I've kind of just become a bit of a mercenary, kind of more of a witchery type of person. That's kind of my inspiration for my character. But I'm pretty new at the whole thing. I've only been doing it for a couple of years, and I don't really have that much of a rep at this point. But I do have a sweet name. So
What was that name again?
Dalton Sebastian Belvedere Grey.
Just to confirm, are you going to go by your full name every time we're referring to you? Yep.
Yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
And if you don't talk to him as such, he's not going to respond.
Oh yeah, it would be rude if you didn't. I mean, that's my name, so
He may attack
So,
yeah,
So-
just swipe at anybody.
so like Mr. Grey of Shades of Grey fame.
Pretty much. I see. When I made this name earlier today, I went, if I have Grey as a surname, a fucking 50 Shades of Grey joke's going to be instant.
you.
And I'm glad you didn't let me down. So
Don't worry. All it means is that we're going to have like 40-something women listening, and they're going to love it.
exactly.
That's what I was expecting.
basically-
anyway, but
We've instantly like tripled our user base.
I'm just laying the
Oh.
foundation for when I tie you guys up later. In roleplay, obviously. Wink.
And I believe Dalton is Patrick Swayze's name in Roadhouse, so that's also good.
I was going for a different Dalton inspiration, but I like that as well, so that's fine.
Douglas Hill, purveyor of facts.
Roadhouse.
All right, who's next?
I guess I'll go next. So, my character is called Skaram. That's just Skaram, as in Scaramouche.
Okay.
He
Does he have a second name?
He does not, and I'll explain why. So, because that's not even his real name. So the the tiefling acolyte was just hanging around in his acolyte business, working at the local church and going through all the libraries that they had there. When he came across a very strange book, I suppose I should say I came across a very strange book by this point.
You're not in character properly yet.
He found this book and it warped his mind a little. He forgot who he was, and when he woke up, he was blessed by an elder god. So fun times ahead for him. And without really knowing it, he's going to be trying to spread the word of his new god. He doesn't know why. He doesn't even realize that he's under the influence.
Fair enough.
Brilliant. Right, well, I am going by the name of Jibblewick, and a bit of an urchin, orphaned when I was a lot younger. I'm sure that story will come out a little bit more in the future. It's not something I'm going to go into too much right now.
He's keeping his cards close to his chest.
Yeah, absolutely.
As orphans so want to, they don't want to give people things.
I've
That's true.
always lived by the philosophy that it's not stealing if I need it more than someone else does. And because of that, I've now decided that going for something a little bit wild. I've stolen from some very well-off merchants, shall we say. And I've got my gear, and I'm ready for an adventure because there's nothing left for me in this town. It's quite a sad story, but I'm sure he'll perk it up a little bit.
That is quite a sad story.
It is Jibblewick after all. Everyone knows Jibblewick. I do have a pet mouse as well called Bitey. Just wanted to get that out there. Pet mouse, Bitey.
Bitey. It was called Jerry earlier, so...
Yeah, it changed. You see, you changed your entire backstory. I changed the name of my mouse. I feel like we both went through some peril, but,
So we have Dalton something Dorian
Sebastian
Gray.
Belvedere Grey.
Perfect.
Did you
Nice
write
one,
that
Chris.
down, or did you remember that?
No.
Oh, that's a good point. I should really write down your names, because I'm going to forget them straight away.
And you are a human paladin. Is that
A human
correct?
paladin. Paladin's my class, but like I said, most of my inspiration is from Witchering and that game series. So it's kind of just the closest thing that I could have to my character, but it will do.
And a tiefling warlock.
Yep.
Called, what was his name again?
Literally like Scram.
Scram. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And a gnome rogue.
Gnome rogue, a rock gnome to be precise, subrace wise.
Right. Okay. So, you all met somehow.
Nice and accurate.
At the pub, as usual.
Always at the pub.
We'll fill that backstory in as we go, I'm sure. But currently, you're a group of good friends, presumably, or just adventuring together, or whatever.
I'd like to say acquaintances, personally.
Yeah, all right. Loose acquaintances who sometimes adventure together. And you find yourself in the township of Durgon's Rest. Now, the township of Durgon's Rest lies at the edge of the Kingswood, on the tradeway between the city of Red Falcon and the dwarven fastness of Boltstone Spire. The hamlet is little more than a way stop made up of a collection of small farms and businesses that have grown up around Alton's trading post. In addition to the trading post, the township offers an inn, a small temple, a great hall, where locals occasionally meet, and a small garrison that patrols the tradeway. The town square is notably devoid of activity, with only a couple of local farmers peddling wilted vegetables or sickly green-gilled fish from their market stalls. You find yourselves in the town square, and a young man dressed in a crimson tunic of a town crier hammers a bulletin to a thick wooden post and calls out, "Sellswords wanted! Break Elia's curse of famine and claim your reward. Those with courage, make yourselves known and earn your reward."
I'll walk over, I guess, if we're going. I'm going to stroll right on over.
To the guy.
to the guy, but I'm going to awkwardly look past him at the bulletin board first to see if there's any information about coinage and how much money I'd be paid to do it. But I want to be quite rude and obnoxious about it too. Like, I want him to try and talk to me, and I just like ignore him while I look past. No, am I not allowed to? All right, fine.
Well, you can do whatever you want.
Well, I've walked over and I'm looking at the piece of paper, the
Right,
notice
I
he's
see.
just hammered onto the board to see if, because it mentions the reward, and I want to see if it actually says the reward on there, such as, I don't know,
It
$1 trillion
says
gold.
the reward said 100 gold pieces.
All right, I'm in. Count me in.
I'm gonna wander over, bit cautious of everything, sort of glancing around. Just have a look at the reward as well, and I think I'll join in this party. It sounds pretty fun. Maybe.
I'll also shift over to the bulletin board, but I can't actually see because it's quite high. But all I can see is the large print where it says reward, and I'm in regardless of what's going on.
Well, old Gregan, the town crier, noticing that you've been looking at his lovely new poster, says, you sell swords? Are you interested in making yourself some money?
Yeah, I absolutely am. Of course I am. Dalton Sebastian Belvedere Grey is all about making money, so
Well, that's...
tell me more.
Well, Master Windhorn has issued 100 gold pieces reward to anyone who can help break a dreadful curse that is causing all of the local crops to fail, animals to grow sick, and threatens to ruin the coming harvest.
Have you got decent aggregate? Fuck it. Never mind. I hang my head in shame as I can't say basic words.
I'll sidle up to the crier and just sort of, say, well, as I'm quite well versed in magics, I'm sure I could be of some assistance.
Ah, good.
What seems to is there any focus for the curse that we know of?
It was that bloody witch.
Oh, and where does she live?
Well, she was recently discovered residing in Durgon's Rest. Her name was Elia Fenfrost. And her witchcraft was discovered several months ago, and she was exiled.
So instead of just killing her, you exiled her and let the curse continue?
Well, we thought she'd perish in the woods, but there's whispers that the blight is her devilish curse.
Okay, I see. You're not even sure whose curse it is, right?
Well, we're pretty sure it was a witch.
I straddle back over, having regained my confidence from my earlier word fumble, and I'm just like, there seems to be a lot of finger pointing here. I don't want to go on some merry adventure, attack some broad in the woods, and it turns out it's not even her curse. Can you guarantee it's her curse?
Well, ask anyone in the town; they'll tell you the same story.
I will, and I shout across to somebody who's 20 feet away. Oi! Whose curse is this? Oi!
Having overheard and wanting to take control of the conversation a little bit, I tend to listen to the town crier who's speaking, and I ask him for more of a descriptive approach of this Elia Fenfrost, which we're talking about. What does she look like? What race would she be?
He doesn't really know much more, or doesn't appear to know any more information, but says it'd be better to ask around the town.
I'm disappointed, and I'm definitely going to sigh there quite loudly, and then I'll probably follow on after Dalton, who seems to be talking to some stranger in the corner.
Yeah, I'm harassing some poor fat old
Talking,
man.
shouting at.
Yeah. Well, he's old, so he's probably deaf. So, oi!
For those of you at home, that was the sound of a dice dropping.
I heard dice, which means you know what that means. There's a dragon coming.
Yep.
Initiative checks, fellas.
You all die. Well, okay. The guy you're talking to says, I don't think it was Elia. I reckon it was that Master Windhorn who practices magic himself. every spring I see him walking around upon Durgon's hill, whispering in tongues. He exiled Elia because she knew that he was up to no good.
Well, that's quite the twist immediately in this tale. I pat him on the back and just walk off. But I don't even say anything. I just like, yeah, all right. Just stroll back to the group.
There's some more people around if you just want to ask around a bit more.
Well, I guess we could go inside the inn first. Innkeepers normally know the most knowledge about what's going on in the town because they hear stories from travellers, etc. So
Sure.
I'm gonna walk over to the inn and see if my good friends Dalton and Skaram are gonna come join me in here. Maybe get a drink as well because we are quite parched.
I follow along as, that's the kind of guy I am. I like to follow.
Well, you in the square you can see opposite the big trading post on one side there is a large 2-story inn, and it's quite nice looking. There's probably rougher pubs, but this one's quite a nice one. It doesn't look very like raucous or anything. There's looks quite nice, and when you go inside you can see that it's got large rooms, comfortable chairs. It's quite fancy, and
The Hilton Hotel of inns. Not your average travel lodge.
and at the bar you can see a half-elven woman.
Being a bit of a creep that I am, now inside the inn, I've seen this half-elven lady, and I think she's quite attractive. I haven't seen a half-elf for quite a while. There wasn't many of those around in my hometown. So first things first, I'm going to go up to her and start conversation, and say she's looking pretty gorgeous.
She says, "Who said that?"
Well, I am Jibblewick, obviously. I'm surprised you haven't heard of my name myself, with a nice little wink. And then,
No, I mean I can't see who's speaking to me.
well, I'm just going to sigh now, actually. Quite a large sigh, loud enough for her to look down, notice me. Immediately, I can see my chances are ruined, and fortunately, I can see that Dalton and Skaram didn't notice as well because they're still over by the door, just lingering. So I cut straight to the chase and ask her what her name is, and maybe she'd be able to help us because we're looking for a master windhorn.
Oh, hello. My name is Teresa Silverblade. I'm the owner of this establishment. And you're looking for Master Windhorn.
I believe that was his name. We were talking to the town crier outside, and we've just got some business.
Oh yeah. Well, he will probably be in the Great Hall.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Miss Teresa. It might be a chance that we may have to stay here in the future. I was just wondering, how much do you charge for a room?
It's 1 gold piece a night, I'm afraid. It's pretty reasonable.
Pretty reasonable
And
indeed.
we
I
also
imagine a
do-
breakfast would be set in with that as well.
Don't know about that.
Perhaps go to a different inn.
But we do delicious food: sourced goose, roast boar, pheasant stew, wine, ale.
Where do you
whatever
get
you
your
want.
produce? We heard that a lot of the animals have been getting ill recently.
Can you show the
Oh,
fair
yeah.
trade marker? I shout from the door.
It's all imported now because of all the troubles we've been having with the local farms.
Do you know anything more about these troubles?
Quite possibly.
I love.
There should be a little animation where the dice just rolls on the screen every
I
time.
love the intelligence checks for characters. It always makes me chuckle.
Well, she explains that
Fascinating.
The suspense is killing me. I stand still, tapping my foot, thinking that she might have gone into a small coma or something.
Just
Oh, I
look out for
see.
bleeding at the ears.
I just went into a whole explanation, but I'd mute myself again.
Oh, gee.
So anyway, she explains that although everyone in the town says it was a liar with her witchcraft, she's not so sure. And she tells you that she used to live in the town and her home is still vacant at the northwest edge of the town. And that she was an apothecary, brewing salves and ointments from local herbs.
Well, gentlemen, that's 2 against and 1 for the Fenfrost woman.
Yes, this doesn't seem to be quite such an easy picture as first painted, does it? I sidle over to the lady, whatever her name is, Teresa, because I actually speak Elvish as an extra language. So I just quietly, almost a whisper, ask her if she can tell me any more without other ears listening. If she has any extra information.
She says in Elvish, Elia practiced the old faith and was no witch. In fact, she once healed local farmers and local animals and was generally a pretty good person.
Is there any way that she could use her knowledge of arts to turn against the town, having been banished?
Well, I'm sure she was probably capable of this, but I don't think it was her.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Shall we go to the Great Hall, chaps? Find Master Windu, or whatever his name was?
Windhorn.
Mace Windu. Mace Windu.
I thought that's what he said the first time.
Is there anyone else in the inn, or is it just this woman?
Oh yeah. We should have more
No,
people.
it's empty at the moment.
Oh.
It's empty at the moment.
Well, with her prices, I don't see.
Personally, I think it's rude to enter an establishment and then leave without buying a drink.
It's a good shout. Well, I guess the first round's on you then, Skaram.
Very well volunteered.
Okay, so it's 5 gold for a bottle of wine.
Well, I appear to have left my coin purse in my.
I could do you a local ale for 1 gold.
These prices are ridiculous. I mean, I know there's a famine on and all, but Jesus.
Well, it's all imported now, you see.
2 copper pieces down the road, don't you know? 2 copper.
Well, I'm sorry, but that is the price.
Have you got any water?
Yes, that'll be 1 silver piece.
I just leave.
We'll take some air.
That's a copper.
I turn around and just walk outside. Furious
Yeah,
at the prices.
I quickly follow.
I also skittle along. Nearly get the door slung in my face by Skaram. Thanks for that. But no, I'm out. And I'm
So
behind
hard to
by-
notice.
Okay. So out of the door, you can see the trading post. Down the road a ways, you can see a shrine and a tower behind that. And then the Great Hall's like down the road the opposite way.
The trading post might know a few more bits of information for us. They might have business affected and might know who's to blame.
Yes, but we certainly don't want to check their prices. If that pub's anything to go by, packet of crisps will be 60 gold.
All right, I head over to the trading post and ask similar questions about what's going on with all these curses and whatnot.